Okay, so now we're going to talk about finding the volume of a cone, and we're just going to straight into it. Volume of a cone. I'm going to give you two formulas. They basically mean the same thing. This is the formula that, like, when you see it on a formula sheet, you're going to see it'd be 1/3 pi r squared h. But I like to think of it as, I like to think of it as I'm doing pi r squared h, so the volume of a cone, or the surface area of a cone start, right? Divided by 3. I said surface area of a cone. Volume of a cylinder. Pi r squared h is the volume of a cylinder, but then I divide it by 3 because a cone, 3 cones fit in a cylinder with the same circle base and height. So, I tend to use the second one right here. I do pi times r squared h and then divide by 3 in the end. So, let's practice it. What is the volume of each of these cones in terms of pi? So we're leaving this in terms of pi. So this first one, our radius, 3. So radius equals 3. Our height equals 3. So I'm going to do V equals pi r squared h divided by 3. So pi times 3 squared times 3 divided by 3. That's a lot of 3's. Again, we want it in terms of pi, so I'm leaving the pi alone. 3 squared is 9 times 3 divided by 3. And at this point, I can do one of two things. I can go ahead and keep multiplying, or I know that 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. And that's what I'm going to go with. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and so we are left with 9 pi centimeters cubed. Now, if we would have done the multiplication, we would have ended up with 27 pi over 3, again, equals 9 pi. So, either way, but for those who are like, I still don't know what you did there, Mrs. Cartwright, I just went ahead and did the division before I actually multiplied. But you have to square before you do anything like that. All right. For B, my radius, so here's my radius 2. I know that's my radius because it's from the center to the outside of the circle. So radius equals 2, and my height equals 7. So then I'm going to do volume equals pi times my radius, which is 2 squared times 7 divided by 3. So here we're going to have pi times 4 times 7 divided by 3. And then we're going to have 4 times 7 is 28. So we have 28 pi divided by 3. And it wants it in terms of pi. I would prefer to leave this as 28 thirds pi, which is approximately 9.33 pi. So, in my opinion, I would rather leave it here because that's a more exact answer. But I think when I was doing this with the book, it had it go ahead and take it down to 9.33 or 9.3. Sorry. Ooh. I need more energy, guys. All right, so centimeters cubed. Either one of those, double check, read that fine blueprint. It'll tell you whether it wants it as a decimal. If it doesn't say decimal, you should be able to type it as a fraction. We have one more volume example. Again, I like to go to the question first. So the nearest tenth of a centimeter, what should the radius of the cone be? So I don't know my R again. So shaved ice vendor wants a new cone. It holds about 100. So if that's what it holds, that's its volume. And see how it has the cubic centimeters? I know that that then is my volume, 150 cubic centimeters. Of shaved ice, when filled to the brim, to the nearest tenth of a centimeter, what should the radius of the cone be? When we look at the picture, we know that our height is 9. All right, so from here, we're plugging into that volume equals pi r squared h divided by 3. And so I know my volume is 150. I'm going to go ahead and move my h to the front. So I'm going to have 9 pi r squared divided by 3. I know that 9 is divisible by 3, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that kind of takes care of something really quick, and I don't have to worry about this divided by 3. If for some reason it doesn't divide equally, then your next step would be to multiply both sides by 3. But this one does divide, so 9 divided by 3 is 3, so we have 3 pi r squared. I'm now going to take that 3 times the pi, which is going to be 9.42. Oops, that was a terrible 4. R squared equals 150. And now to get r by itself, I'm going to divide by 9.42. I am running out of space. So I'm going to move that over here. So 150 divided by 9.42 is 15.92. So 15.92 equals r squared. And to undo the r squared, we're going to square root both sides. And so I get 3.99, which is approximately r. It wants us to round to the nearest 10th. If I round to the nearest 10th, the 9 rounds the 9 to a 10, which makes our radius approximately 4 centimeters. So again, we took what we knew, we plugged it in, we solved for our unknown r. And that's how we work with the volume of cones. And in our next video, we're going to talk about the volume of spheres. I'll see you there.